Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhakta Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Prahlad pacifies Lord Nrsimhadev with prayers. Text number 22 onwards. So he is further praying to the Lord. Sattvam hi nitya vijitatma guna sudhamna kalo vashikrit visrajya visarga shakti chakre visrishtam majeshwara shodashare nishpidyam manam upakarsha vibho prapannam. My dear Lord, O Supreme Great, you have created this material world of 16 constituents, but you are transcendental to their material qualities. In other words, these material qualities are under your full control, and you're never conquered by them. Therefore, the time element is your representation. My Lord, O Supreme, no one can conquer you. As for me, however, I am being crushed by the wheel of time, and therefore I surrender fully unto you. Now kindly take me under the protection of your lotus feet. The wheel of material miseries is also a creation of the Supreme Personality of God, but he is not under the control of the material energy. Rather, he is a controller of the material energy, whereas we, the living entities, are under its control. When we give up our constitutional position, Jivera Swarupoi Krishnera Nityadas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates this material energy and her influence over the conditioned soul. Therefore, he is the Supreme, and only he can deliver the conditioned soul from the onslaught of material nature. So, it's his energy, material nature is all his energy. His energy to punish or rectify the conditioned soul. But those who take shelter, Krishna says, Mame vi prapadyante maya metam tarandite. Those who take shelter of my lotus feet, they easily cross over this maya, material energy. Maya, the external energy, continuously imposes upon the conditioned soul the suffering of the threefold miseries of this material world. Therefore, in the previous verse, Prahlad Maharaj prayed to the Lord, but for your Lordship, no one can save me. Prahlad Maharaj has also explained that a child's protectors, his parents, cannot save the child from the onslaught of birth and death. Nor can medicine and a physician save one from death. Nor can a boat or similar means of protection save a person drowning in the water. For everything is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So ultimately, the Savior, the Protector, is Krishna, nobody else. We all can try, we all should try, but ultimately it's all in Krishna's hands. Therefore, suffering humanity must surrender to Krishna, as Krishna himself demands in the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharmana Parityajya. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. All of human society must take advantage of this offer and thus be saved by Krishna from the danger of being crushed by the wheel of time, the wheel of past, present, and future. And this wheel is going on, it never stops, and it crushes in the sense, with time, everything changes. Everything that has taken birth, it grows, it maintains, it produces byproducts, it dwindles, it vanishes. With time, it goes on. But except the devotees who are engaged, who are always engaged in the devotional service, in talking about glorifying, hearing of Krishna. The word nishpidyamanam, being crushed, is very significant. Every living entity in the material condition is actually being crushed again and again. And to be saved from this position, one must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then one will be happy. The word prapannam is also very significant. For unless one fully surrenders to the Supreme Lord, one cannot be saved from being crushed. A criminal is put in prison and punished by the government, but the same government, if it likes, can release the criminal from imprisoned life. Similarly, we must know conclusively that our material condition of suffering has been allotted to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we want to be saved from this suffering, we must appeal to the same controller. Thus, one can be saved from this material condition. So Prabhupada says, if a criminal is put in the prison by the government and it's being punished, the same government can release the prisoner. So if we have been put under this material condition of suffering, because Krishna is a controller, so he can take us out as well. What's so big deal for him? All we have to do is just surrender unto him. That's all. And we are under the control, either directly or indirectly. In the spiritual world, we are under his control, under his Yoga Maya. In the material world, we are under his Mahamaya. But in Yoga Maya, there's real happiness. There are no miseries. Miseries are there also because there is separation from Krishna. But that misery also gives pleasure. Here we all cry because of miseries. But there, even the crying gives pleasure. It's just a different world, completely opposite. So that is where we want to be at. Drishta maya divi vibhu akhil dhishne pana ayushriyo vibhav ichchati yajano ayam yasmit pituh upit has vijrambhitabru visfurjitena lulitaha satute nirastaha. My dear Lord, people in general want to be elevated to the higher planetary systems for a long duration of life, opulence and enjoyment. But I have seen all of these through the activities of my father. When my father was angry and he laughed sarcastically at the demigods, they were immediately vanquished simply by seeing the movements of his eyebrows. Yet my father, who was so powerful, has now been vanquished by you within a moment. So this is his personal realization. Within this material world, one should understand by practical experience the value of material opulence, longevity, and influence. We have actual experience that even on this planet, there have been many great politicians and military commanders like Napoleon, Hitler, Subhash Chandra Bose, and Gandhi. But as soon as their lives are finished, their popularity, influence, and everything else were finished also. And it is going to finish for everybody. It's not like we all are immortal. We all are going to die. Napoleon, Hitler, and Prabhupada quoted named Subhash Chandra Bose and Gandhi. Prahlad Maharaj formerly gathered the same experience by seeing the activities of Hiranyakashipu, his great father. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj did not give any importance to anything in this material world. No one can maintain his body or material achievements forever. A Vaishnava can understand that nothing within this material world, not even that which is powerful, opulent, or influential, can endure. Everything is temporary here, and everything is moving. Moving in the sense, nothing is permanent, so things are changing. Everything is changing. At any time, such things may be vanquished. And who can vanquish them? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his feature as time, he just vanquishes. We used to have British Empire, and before that, Mughal Empire. Where are they now? Chinese, Roman Empire, Greek Empire. Now American Empire is in power. For how long? In Germany, it was Hitler. Where is he now? Therefore, one should conclusively understand that no one is greater than the Supreme Great. Since the Supreme Great demands Sarva Dharman Parityaja, every intelligent man must agree to this proposal. One must surrender unto the Lord to be saved from the wheel of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. And Prahlad Maharaj is citing the example of his own father. He was such a big person that if he moved his eyebrows, all the demigods, do we think the demigods are afraid of Napoleon or Hitler or Gandhi or British Empire or this empire? That no, they don't care. We are like mosquitoes for them, for the demigods. And all those demigods were afraid of Hiranyakashipu. And same Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj saying, he's just lying here dead. You just killed him within a moment. The fight did not last too long. So ultimately, it's the Supreme Lord who's the most powerful, and that's what we should be taking shelter of. Tasmad mustanu bhritam aham ashishu agya ayushriyam vibhavam andriyam avirinchayat nechami te vilulitanuru vikramena kalat manopanay mam nij bhritti parshvam. My dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, and other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities, from Lord Brahma down to the ant. As powerful time, you destroy them all. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in the touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant. See, this is the heartfelt, sincere desire of a devotee. They just want to be in association of other devotees and want to just serve them. Of course, here he is saying, let me be in touch with your pure devotee. It means Narad Muni, because Narad Muni is his guru. By studying Srimad Bhagavatam, every intelligent man can get experience like that of Prahlad Maharaj through the historical incidents mentioned in this great literature of spiritual knowledge. By following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, one should gain thorough experience that all material opulence is perishable at every moment. Even this body for which we try to acquire so many sensual pleasures may perish at any time. The soul, however, is eternal. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The soul is never vanquished, even when the body is destroyed. An intelligent man, therefore, should care for the happiness of the spirit soul, not of the body. Even if one receives a body with a long duration of life, like those of Lord Brahma and the other great demigods, it will also be destroyed. And therefore, an intelligent man should be concerned with the imperishable spirit soul. But this is the problem. We don't have the knowledge of the soul, and we don't care for the soul. All we care for is the body. And the body is going to perish. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When the body is destroyed, the soul is not destroyed. Soul always remains. To save oneself, one must take shelter of a pure devotee. Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Chadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistara Paiche Kepa. If one wants to save himself from material nature's onslaughts, which arise because of the material body, one must become Krishna conscious and try to fully understand Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chamit Divya. One should understand Krishna in truth. And this one can do only by serving a pure devotee. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj prays that Lord Nrsimhadev place him in touch with the pure devotee and servant instead of awarding him material opulence. Every intelligent man within this material world must follow Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj did not want to enjoy the estate left by his father. And that estate was quite a bit of estate. All the planetary systems up to Brahmaloka was under the jurisdiction of his father. He just wanted to become a servant of the Lord. The illusory human civilization that perpetually endeavors for happiness through material advancement is rejected by Prahlad Maharaj and those who strictly follow in his footsteps. There are different types of material opulence, known technically as bhakti, mukti, and siddhi. Bhakti refers to being situated in a very good position, like a position with the demigods in the higher planetary systems, where one can enjoy material sense gratification to the greatest extent. Mukti refers to being disgusted with material advancement and thus desiring to become one with the Supreme. And Siddhi refers to executing a severe type of meditation, like that of the yogis, to attain 8 kinds of perfection, anima, lagima, mahima, etc. All who desire some material advancement through bhakti, mukti, and siddhi are punishable in due course of time, and they return to material activities. Prahlad Maharaj rejected them all. He simply wanted to engage as an apprentice under the guidance of a pure devotee. So all he wanted to do, just let me serve a pure devotee. That's all. He didn't want any of the material opulence. No bhakti, no mukti, no siddhi, nothing. So that's a great quality of advanced devotees. He didn't want any material opulence. Kutra shisha shutti sukham mrik trishni rupaha kvedam kalevaram ashesha rujam viroho nirvidyate natu jano yad piti vidvan kamanalam madhulavah shamayan durape. In this material world, every living entity desires some future happiness, which is exactly like a mirage in the desert. Where is water in the desert? Or in other words, where is happiness in this material world? As for this body, what is its value? It is merely a source of various diseases. The so-called philosophers, scientists, and politicians know this very well. But nonetheless, they aspire for temporary happiness. Happiness is very difficult to obtain, but because they are unable to control their senses, they run after the so-called happiness of the material world and never come to the right conclusion. Never. There is a song in the Bengali language which states, I constructed this home for happiness. But unfortunately, there was a fire and everything has now been burnt to ashes. This illustrates the nature of material happiness. And this is material happiness, quite perfectly stated by Prahlad Maharaj. Everybody is running for doing so many different things by hook or by crook, by somehow or other, some politics or something. I want to be the controller, and I think if I'm the controller, I will be happy. Or I want to be the rich man. I want to be the most handsome person. I want to be the most intelligent, and with my intelligence, I will get educated, and then I'll get this position and that position, and then I will be happy. No, nothing wrong with going after all these goals, but we won't be happy by obtaining those goals. Happiness actually is a path, process. It's not the result that if I get this, I'll be happy. And that is why spiritual life gives a real happiness. It's not that we will be happy once I'll go back to Golok Vrindavan. Till then, I'll suffer. No, the process itself is so pleasing. That's why devotees, they don't want anything else. It's not imposed austerity. It's just they don't want anything because the process itself gives so much happiness. The process is the goal. Of course, we want to purify ourselves. Whatever chanting right now is, of course, slowly, we improve upon it, and the chanting becomes better and better and better and better. That's why somebody asked Prabhupada, what are you aspiring to achieve by chanting? And Prabhupada said, more chanting. That's all. That's all we want, more chanting. By chanting, we want more chanting. But in the material world, everybody is working hard to achieve some goal and thinking, by achieving that goal, I'll be happy. When we are in school, then we are working, studying hard. Let the 10th board exam, let us get good grades. So I'll be happy because then I will have science. And then 12th, oh, let me get good grades, so I have some chance in admission in good college. And then the entrance exam, and then going to the colleges, engineering, medical, or whatever college, and then again working hard to get some good grades, so I'll get college placement in good company. And then it's always a mirage in the desert. Then we start working in the company, then we have to please the boss, the manager, and then we work hard again. We work very, very hard to get the projects out, to make sure that everybody understands my contribution to the project, to the company. And then there is politics. There is always politics, always there. Then my colleague gets a promotion and I didn't get the promotion. And then there's so many things go on. And then we think, oh, if I marry that girl, and girl think, if I marry that boy, I'll be happy. And then the dreams shatter once we get married. The material world will never be happy. Never. And some pinprick will always be there. Always. And Kali Yuga means many of those pinpricks will be there. So until come to the spiritual platform, can never be happy. And this is what Prabhupada says. Everyone should take lessons from Prahlad Maharaj about how we are engaged in so-called temporary happiness through bodily exercises for sense enjoyment. All of us repeatedly make plans, which are all repeatedly frustrated. Therefore, one should stop such plan making. And this is what Prahlad Maharaj said earlier also, right? That if your plan is to be happy, you will never be happy. As one cannot stop a blazing fire by constantly pouring ghee upon it, one cannot satisfy oneself by increasing plans for sense enjoyment. The blazing fire is Bhava Mahadavagani, the forest fire of material existence. This forest fire occurs automatically without endeavor. We want to be happy in the material world, but this will never be possible. We shall simply increase the blazing fire of desires. Our desires cannot be satisfied by illusory thoughts and plans. Rather, we have to follow the instructions of Lord Krishna. Sarva dharmana parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Then we shall be happy. Otherwise, in the name of happiness, we shall continue to suffer miserable conditions. And very, very miserable conditions. Actually, this is where materialists, they say, so you say don't make plans and thoughts, don't have any desires, only desire should be just surrender, and so should we not do anything? No, this is not what Krishna says. Arjun, he heard the whole Bhagavad Gita. He understood the whole Bhagavad Gita. He was a self-realized soul. In the beginning, he was thinking, I cannot be happy if I kill my grandfather and my teacher and my cousin, my nephews, and so many kings. If I kill them, I will not be happy. This was one of the reasons he gave for not fighting. So, in the end, the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken, and then after listening to Bhagavad Gita, he fought. And he was happy because Krishna was pleased by his service. He did not fight for himself. Krishna, it was fight for Krishna. So it was completely devotional service. So for our own sake, as long as we are working, we can never be happy. We just can be mentally satisfied that, okay, I have achieved this, I did this, and I did that. But the happiness is what? It should never diminish, and there should not be no end to it. That is real happiness. But in material world, once our one desire is fulfilled, then we have thousands of more desires that will keep us up at night. We think, we look at all these rich people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk or Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and we think they're very happy. Of course, in the magazines or in some on the internet, when they put their pictures, they all are laughing. That's how they have to pose themselves. But are they really happy in their personal lives? Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, they both underwent divorces. I'm pretty sure they all are having some bodily problems, some diseases, something is there, must be there. So the real happiness does not lie. There's nothing wrong in making money. Nobody says that don't make money. But that's not the goal of life. That's not the be all and end all of lives. Kvaham rajah prabhava ish tamo atikesmin jata sure tarkulekva tavanukampa na brahmanu na tu bhavasya nave ramaya yanme arpita shirasi padmakara prasadaha. O my Lord, O Supreme, because I was born in a family full of the hellish material qualities of passion and ignorance, what is my position? And what is to be said of a causeless mercy which was never offered even to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, you never put your lotus hand upon their heads, but you have put it upon mine. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj is counting his fortune, that you put your lotus hand on my head. You didn't put on Brahma's head or Shiva's head. Prahlad Maharaj was surprised at the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. For although Prahlad was born in a demoniac family, and although the Lord had never before placed his lotus hand on the head of Brahma, Shiva, or the goddess of fortune, his constant companion, Lord Nrsimhadev, kindly placed his hand on the head of Prahlad. This is the meaning of causeless mercy. The causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may be bestowed upon anyone, regardless of his position in this material world. Everyone is eligible to worship the Supreme Lord, irrespective of his material position. And actually, this is his causeless mercy that he is allowing us to chant his holy name. It's his causeless mercy flowing through Srila Prabhupada that we are getting a chance to chant his name. We are getting a chance to read and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. We are getting a chance to serve the deities as in the temple and at our homes, to cook for the deities, to dress the deities, to bathe the deities. It's his mercy only, and causeless mercy. I don't think any one of us can claim that, oh, I was qualified, that's why I got this. No. It's a mercy created by Srila Prabhupada. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Anyone who engages in continuous devotional service to the Lord is situated in the spiritual world and has nothing to do with the material qualities. So continuous mam chayo avyabhichare means without any fall down, without any stopping. If he continuously engages himself in the devotional service, he goes beyond the three modes of material nature. So Prahlad Maharaj saying, I have no such qualification. I was born in a family full of hellish material qualities of passion and ignorance. So this is also humility of a devotee. This is also what pleases the Lord. Because Prahlad Maharaj was situated on the spiritual platform, he had nothing to do with his body, which had been born of the modes of passion and ignorance. The symptoms of passion and ignorance are described in Srimad Bhagavatam as lust and hankering. Prahlad Maharaj, being a great devotee, thought the body born of his father to be born of passion and ignorance. But because Prahlad was fully engaged in the service of the Lord, his body did not belong to the material world. The pure Vaishnava's body is spiritualized even in this life. For example, when iron is put into fire, it becomes red hot and is no longer iron but fire. It might look like iron, it might look like the same rod, shape could be same, but it acts just like fire. Similarly, the so-called material bodies of devotees who fully engage in the devotional service to the Lord, being constantly in the fire of spiritual life, have nothing to do with matter, but are spiritualized. So Prahlad Maharaj was completely spiritual body, nothing to do with material contamination. Srila Madhvacharya remarks that the goddess of fortune, the mother of the universe, could not get mercy similar to that which was offered to Prahlad Maharaj. For although the goddess of fortune is always a constant companion of the Supreme Lord, the Lord is more inclined to his devotees. In other words, the devotional service is so great that when it is offered even by those born in low families, the Lord accepts it as being more valuable than the service offered by the goddess of fortune. Of course, goddess of fortune, Lakshmi ji is very, very dear to the Lord. She's also serving him. But those who are serving him with more devotion, with more surrender, they are obviously more dear. Lord Brahma, King Indra, and other demigods living in the upper planetary systems are situated in different spirit of consciousness. And therefore they are sometimes struggled by demons. But a devotee, even if situated in the lower planets, enjoys life in Krishna consciousness under any circumstances. Parata Swataha Karmata, as he acts himself, as he is instructed by the others, or as he performs his material activities, he enjoys life in every respect. In this regard, Madhacharya quotes the following verses which are mentioned in the Brahma Arka. Prabhupada didn't give any commentary or meaning of those verses, so it's okay. So here Prabhupada is, or even Prahlad Maharaj talked about it, Prabhupada has given more illustrations on that Lakshmi ji. Of course, Lakshmi ji is very, very dear to the Lord, and so dear that today is a festival called Hera Panchami. So Panchami means the 5th day of Rath Yatra. Of course, it's on 16th. So for you, it's a day before. So 5th day. So Hera means to see. On the 5th day, because these brothers, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, they left the Shri Mandir to go to Gundicha temple. And they told Lakshmi ji that we are going to see our Mosi. Now, why the Mosi? Because Gundicha is actually wife of Maharaj Indrajamna, for who was a person for whom the deities were carved by Vishwakarma. So his wife, and actually his wife was the one who told Maharaj that something is wrong. This sculptor has stopped working. There's no sound coming from the room. And there was a condition by the sculptor that if you disturb me at any time, I'll leave. So when he was sculpting the deities from the log of wood, so Maharaj opened the door and the sculptor left. He was just missing, not there. So he found these deities, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and as we know, they don't look like finished deities. They don't have feet, they don't have hands, and they don't look like finished. But the Lord wanted to appear in that form. So Mother Gundicha is considered as Mosi by Jagannath ji. So when this Rath Yatra happens, so they tell Lakshmi ji that, oh, we are just going to Mosi's house and we'll be back in 3 days. So 3 days pass, 4th day, 4 days pass, and then 5th day, Lakshmi ji gets really angry. That how come these 3, they just left me alone here, and there is no news, no message, no WhatsApp message, no phone call, nothing, no email as to when are they coming back. So it's a beautiful festival. Lakshmi ji comes from Shri Mandir along with her set of servants. They come and they see Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra chariots are outside the Gundicha temple. So they are so angry, they don't go inside the Gundicha temple. So Lakshmi Devi's servants, they break Jagannath's Rath a little bit, they break to show her anger. And they also tie up Jagannath's servants, they beat them up, and not just beat them up, they also abuse them with different kinds of words. And in fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there and he was in the audience and he was watching all this and the kind of words that the Lakshmi Devi's servants use, and Mahaprabhu just closed his ear. He said, what are they saying? Why are they saying like this? But it's a beautiful exchange of love, of Lakshmi Devi's love. And then the servants of Jagannath tell the servants of Lakshmi Ji, oh, Jagannath Ji, he'll be back in 2-3 days, so please go back. He'll be back 2-3. Don't worry, he will come back. So Lakshmi Ji comes back, and then the return Rath Yatra happens, and then on Ekadashi, which is on Tuesday here. So on Ekadashi, then the chariot is still outside. Jagannath Ji is still on the chariot. He hasn't gone inside. Then he wears this Shonavesh. All three brother sisters, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. Shona means everything made of gold to please Lakshmi Ji. And still, that night also, they have to live outside, stay outside. And next evening, in fact, they go in. But Jagannath Ji is also stopped. Balram, Sudarshan, Balram Ji, and Subhadra Mai, they all go inside the door. But Lakshmi Ji stops Jagannath Ji. And then Rasgulla is offered to Lakshmi Ji, and then she gets pleased, and then she's allowed inside. So beautiful, beautiful ceremonies, beautiful pastimes. So Lakshmi Ji is very, very dear to the Lord. But here, Prahlad Maharaj, he's just more dear, that's all. Naisha paravar matir bhavato nanu syan jantor yathatma suhrido jagatas tathapi samasevaya surtaro rivate prasadaha sevanurupamudayo na paravaratvam. Unlike an ordinary living entity, my Lord, you do not discriminate between friends and enemies, the favorable and the unfavorable, because for you there is no conception of higher and lower. Nonetheless, you offer your benedictions according to the level of one's service, exactly as a desired tree delivers fruits according to one's desires, and makes no distinction between the lower and the higher. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord clearly says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tasathaiva bhajamyaham. As one surrenders to me, I reward him accordingly. As stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. Every living being is an eternal servant of Krishna. According to the service the living entity renders, he automatically receives benedictions from Krishna, who does not make distinctions, thinking, here is a person in an intimate relationship with me, and here is a person I dislike. So this kind of mentality is what we have, because we have this material body, material consciousness. Even Prahlad Maharaj did not have this mentality, because this is what he told his Gurukul teachers, Chand and Amar, that you're teaching me that this person is my enemy, this person is my friend. I don't like this. Krishna advises everyone to surrender to him. He doesn't say only human beings or only Hindus or only male can surrender unto me, everybody. One's relationship with the Supreme Lord is in proportion to that surrender and the service one renders unto the Lord. Thus, throughout the entire world, the higher or lower positions of the living entities are selected by the living entities themselves. If one is inclined to dictate that the Lord grant something, one receives benedictions according to his desires. If one wants to be elevated to the higher planetary systems, the heavenly planets, he can be promoted to the place he desires. And if one wants to remain a hog or pig on earth, the Lord fulfills that desire also. But of course, the desire behind the desire is how much he deserves. And it's not like if I say, oh, I want $1 billion, and they're going to be delivered to me. No, if I don't deserve, I'm not going to get it. Therefore, one's position is determined by one's desires. The Lord is not responsible for the higher or lower grades of our existence. So he's not, he doesn't like anybody, he doesn't hate anybody. He's just neutral to everybody. Some people want to be promoted to the heavenly planets, some want to be promoted to the Pitriloka, and some want to remain on earth. But if one is interested in returning home back to Godhead, he can be promoted there also. According to the demands of a particular devotee, he receives the result by the grace of the Lord. The Lord does not discriminate, thinking, here is a person favorable to me, and here is a person who is not favorable. Rather, he fulfills the desires of everyone. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying, and Prabhupada further says, akama sarva kamava. Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. According to one's position, whether as a devotee, a karmi, or a jnani, whatever one wants, one can get it if one fully engages in the service of the Lord. So this is, as one surrenders, he rewards accordingly. So beautiful prayers, there are more such prayers rendered by Prahlad Maharaj. And we'll just continue with them tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one question on Ramayana. Vishwamitra, when he took Ramchandra from Vasishtha Muni, when he was in Gurukul, what education he has given? This has the question come for just now my kid was in the class and he got this question. So I was unable to answer that.
So what was the question again? I didn't get it.
So the question was when Vishwamitra took Ramchandra, I think in the middle, while he completed his education, he was with Vishwamitra, and that was the time when he killed Talka also, in the middle of it, while he was traveling. And what education he has given to Ramchandra? Some education.
I missed the last sentence. What's the education of Ramchandra?
Yeah.
I mean, see, he was doing Nar Leela as a human being. So he had to get the education of scriptures, different aspects of ruling, and there was so education of the weapons, so many things, because he was doing the Leela as a human being.
I'm aware of this one thing that he has given a weapon to Shravani, and he said that this weapon, if you shoot at anyone, it won't go waste. It will hit the right target. That is one I know, but the other thing is...
Yeah, there were so many weapons he got, so many. And the arrow was Agastya Hriday or Aditya Hriday, something like that, if I'm not wrong, with which he killed Ravan. That was an arrow that he shot at Rama.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.